It's a proven statistic that staged homes sell faster and for more money than homes that are not staged. Staging has gained popularity in the recent years, and not staging your home could cost you thousands. So today, we're going to be discussing the best practices for staging your home to ensure that the home is presented in its best possible light. Welcome to the Austin Real Estate Insider, where we tackle all the issues facing buyers and sellers in today's market. My name is Matt Edwards with Spyglass Realty, and I'm joined by Sonny Tracy, our staging expert here at Spyglass Realty. Sonny, how are you?
Very well. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All righty. So today's we're going to cover a couple different topics: the basics of staging and listing presentation for the home, how a professional stager can help add value and save you time, and what kind of timeline for staging and listing a home you should plan for. All righty. So you ready to dive into it?
Yes.
Let's do it. So what are some of the basics of staging the home and getting it ready for the listing presentation?
Two big words I think really get to the basics of home staging, and that's decluttering and depersonalization. So, and those mean a lot of things, whether you have an occupied property or an unoccupied property, and we can talk about both of those. Typically, we're working with people who are going to have to live in their home while they sell it, and don't be afraid of that. Staging can actually make that a lot easier for you. When your home is staged, it's a lot easier to keep clean and tidy. So if you're worried about that, call a professional stager, because that's what they're there for. But the two big things are to take out anything that is, personal photos, belongings, things that aren't going to make sense to other people. Again, in decluttering, removing things from countertops, making as much space available as possible. The less stuff in a room, the larger it's going to look. So,
and that's something buyers are looking for, right? You want them to, when somebody walks into a house, you want the house to feel big, open, spacious, and when it's full of items, the more items that are in there, the smaller that space feels, right?
Absolutely. You want big and bright. So, when you've got furniture that might be blocking part of a window, we can help figure out another way to arrange that to create more space and light in the room. So those are the two big things. And again, with depersonalization, sometimes that means small repairs like neutralizing paint colors that maybe you painted a room, in kind of a vibrant color. That's probably not going to work for staging. You want to really neutralize and make this house look like a blank canvas for someone that's going to move in and make it their own.
I know that all too well. Actually, I just put a listing on the market that had a pink room.
Ooh.
The room is not pink anymore, put it that way.
Nightmare right there. And Matt knows about this. I've staged several homes for him. Matt, that kind of take us into the next topic, but do you feel like there's value in having a personal stager stage your listings?
Absolutely. It makes a world of difference. For one, it adds some flair to the house, and it helps potential buyers actually imagine living there. So it takes the house up. Even if it's a great house, it adds another layer of wow to it. And then it also, so it's going to draw their attention. And then when they walk into the house, they can kind of see the furniture layout and imagine living there versus just emptiness.
Absolutely.
So staging, I won't put a house on the market unless it's staged.
Absolutely. Awesome. And that's a wise choice from a listing agent who's selling them like hotcakes. But I was going to mention too that we're in the Austin market, and this is starting to become a norm. So those homes that aren't being staged are really starting to have a disadvantage because staging has gained popularity and just buzz through the recent years. I got my staging certification about 3.5, 4 years ago, and I felt like it wasn't, when I told people that's what I was going to do, they're like, "You do what?" Now I feel like it's a much more of a household name as far, or a term as far as you know, people knowing and understanding. I mean, I have buyers now that I'm walking through and they're like, oh, this place isn't staged. This really is hard for me to understand, you know, how my furniture could fit in this living room or how I would work around this fireplace that's in a corner. So staging also helps you tackle architectural details that might not be, you know, that might not be super favorable without having kind of a vision around them. Like I said, corner fireplace is kind of always a challenge when staging. That's like, as soon as I walk in, I see a corner fireplace, I'm like, ah. But there's ways to stage around it to make sure that people understand that you know, what the best use of the actual space is. So again, that's where a professional stager coming in is super important, I think. While, you know, there's lots of great videos out there and HGTV has some wonderful television shows, people that have trained to do this and do it all the time and have seen lots and lots of houses have the practice can just give you some really invaluable advice. I can't tell you how many times our clients have been like, I would have just never thought of this. And this document that you gave me listing everything I should do to every single room, step by step, is really made the difference for us. It made the selling process easier, first of all, because trying to learn all that while you're trying to get ready to sell a home is a lot. Let us take, or, you know, let a professional stager take on the expertise and the planning part of it. That way, all you have to do is execute. You know, we'll give you a list of exactly what needs to be done, and you just have to do it.
Yeah, and that's really the key. And so there's kind of, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, so there's staging can be looked at in one of two ways. Yes, you have an empty house, you bring in furniture, artwork, things like that. But most houses, you know, people are already living there. Mm-hmm. And when you walk in, you basically restage their home with their existing furniture and artwork and things like that. Although you may move some things around, but if the people actually follow your plan, it works. A prime example, last year, Sunny came into some clients of mine houses, gave them a 3 or 4 page document that was room by room. The sellers followed it exactly like she said to do. The home looked fantastic, and it looked like it was professionally staged after they were done. And I mean, it was a home run, but they executed on every piece of advice that Sunny had gave them, and the process was smooth. They got a jump start on moving and packing because, you know, they decluttered, they rearranged, and I mean, it worked. So actually following, you know, Sunny's advice, professional stager's advice, I mean, it helps tremendously.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like I said, clients say it when they're done, and listing agents do too. And I often get the question like, well, how long does this take? Or what's the timeline like to get us ready to sell? And it really depends on kind of the property. Again, Matt mentioned, like, if you have a vacant property, or if you think, hey, I don't want to deal with this, I want to move out and have my property fully staged. That way I don't have to, I can kind of, you know, turn my back on this property and kind of not deal with it. That's an option too. And while, you know, in some situations that might cost a little bit more money to have furniture brought in and have a professional stager do that, you're going to make that money back in the sale. I can almost guarantee it. The statistics tell us that it's an empty house is really hard for buyers to fall in love with, to create, you know, because they're walking in and thinking about their family and like, wow, how would it feel to live in this living room, in this kitchen, and, you know, have an evening and have a dinner. And hard for them to wrap their heads around all that kind of stuff when it's a completely empty space that they can't have any visualization of furniture and stuff like that.
And speaking of stats, we've got one here. 85% of staged homes sell for between 6 to 25% more than unstaged homes.
Absolutely.
So staging works. It's been proven. They've got the stats. So there's no reason not to do it. And staging there's multiple ways to stage. We've already discussed that. So, you know, in time frame, obviously it's going to vary, size of the house, the amount of items, things like that. So the bigger the house, the more items, the sooner you may want to, you know, get a jump start on that and kind of have your time frame lined up and then actually execute on that time frame. And then, is there anything else we're missing?
On that note, I will say, a lot of times people make the not mistake, but just don't quite fully understand the process. And so they want to list their house in April and they call us in March or February and they say, hey, I need to list my house, I want to sell. And we say, yeah, it is a great time to sell. And the stager goes over there and wow, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of decluttering and maybe there's some paint that needs to be neutralized. Maybe we've got our, bright red with wallpapered something going on and we need some work that needs to be done. But it's never too early to get a staging consultation, okay?
No.
I have a client that I went over to, a listing client that we went over there about a month ago. And he's since called me and says, you know what? We want to stockpile and save a little bit more money and sell and buy next year. That way we'll have more cash on hand and we'll be, better prepared to move on to our next place. I said, no problem. And, I'm happy to help you in 2020 do that. Let's still do your staging consultation sooner than later. So I'm planning to get with him in late spring or summer to do that staging consultation because then he has 6, 7 months, 8 months to get ready. And the more time you have, the better it's going to be. So don't feel like, oh, that's way down the line. I don't need to kind of get into that yet because how nice would it be to have this staging plan and maybe you just tackle one room a month, or maybe you one room every 2 months, or you want to, take time off for the holidays and enjoy it, and not have to worry about staging a house. Or packing and doing all those things. So again, never too early to call and get your staging plan since you have time to work on it.
No, that's great because everybody knows these weeks fly by, the months fly by. All of a sudden, we're in January, but we're almost to the end of January. And it'll be December before we know it, and then it'll be next spring, and it's like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything. So that's great advice, and with them, they'll be able to jumpstart, never feel overwhelmed, and they'll start to declutter and get rid of stuff, and it's a win-win, for them. So I like it. Before we end, is there any last-minute tips or tricks or anything that you want to impart?
Use a listing agent with Spyglass Realty because your staging consultation is included with your listing package.
That is very true. Very true. I love it. All right. All right. So to wrap it up, so don't forget to like this video if you're watching on Facebook, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and you hit the subscribe button. And then if you want to be subscribed to future broadcasts, make sure you type the word home in the comment section below, and we'll get you signed up. So you get notified for all of our future broadcasts. Sunny, thank you so much for joining us today.
Matt.
No idea what we're going to be talking about next week, but stay tuned and find out.
It'll be Ryan doing something. Oh, actually, Ryan will be live from Inman next week.
Inman in New York or San Fran?
New York.
New York. Oh, so for those folks who don't know, Inman is the big real estate kind of news network out there, and they put on some events. And Ryan's in Vegas right now at some conference, and he'll be in New York next week. So that ought to be fun. So make sure you stay tuned and check him out and see what he's talking about. All right.
Thanks, Matt.
You got it. Thanks, Sonny. See you guys next time.